Hi, I'm Trevor Noah, and I'm narrating my book, Born a Crime, for Audible. There were certain stories that I wanted to tell. Many times I would tell friends and acquaintances these stories, and they go, why don't you share this with the world? I was like, but where? Where do you share it with the world? And one day a good friend of mine said, you should write a book. I think very early on, I realized that I wanted to add an audiobook component to writing a book, because as a comedian and as a performer, spoken word has always been my primary form of communication. You're telling it to somebody one-on-one, but you're trying to engage the mind, because that's what I love when I read books, and that's what I love when I listen to an audiobook, is hearing the feeling of how that person is telling the story. I was 9 years old when my mother threw me out of a moving car. It happened on a Sunday. I know it was on a Sunday because we were coming home from church, and every Sunday in my childhood meant church. We never missed church. My mother was, and still is, a deeply religious woman, very Christian. Like indigenous peoples around the world, Black South Africans adopted the religion of our colonizers. By adopt, I mean it was forced on us. The white man was quite stern with the native. You need to pray to Jesus, he said. Jesus will save you. Well, we don't need to be saved. Saved from you. But that's beside the point. So let's give this Jesus thing a shot. When I listen to an audiobook, I like to hear the voice of the author, especially if it's someone that I may know who exists beyond just the book. It's nice to have that face and that voice and the idea. The most important thing for me was when I tell the stories, I try and embody the characters. What you do get from the audiobook that you don't get from the page is that vivid picture of who everybody is. I would like for people to listen to Born a Crime because it's a moment in time that I get to share with you one-on-one. Come into my world, live in South Africa for a bit, grow up as a mixed-race child, learn what it's like to be an outsider in a world that is defined by only color and race. In the specificity of our stories, we find the most common ground. And that's what I would love for people to join me on.